Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. So here in the Gotham Knights community, our conversation regarding this so-called potential leak by a art director who once worked with Warner Brothers Games Montreal on Gotham Knights project, basically dictating the art direction of the game. There's talk about the fact that, somehow a picture, was kind of released that had spring 2022 of, for Gotham Knights in terms of the release date. And everyone is talking about this as, something that's really important. Now, I made a video saying, I didn't necessarily take it too seriously because I wasn't a big fan of the way a lot of games journalists were writing articles regarding Gotham Knights because I felt like they're just trying to capitalize on the fact that this game is wanted by a lot of people. But some of you here in the audience have told me to go back and look at a few more developments, and I'm going back to look at them. But to be very honest, the short and sweet is they still haven't changed my mind. I still maintain the same position. And what I want to do is I want to look at those aspects, those developments, and I want to show you why my position remains the same, which is I prefer that Warner Brothers themselves or Warner Brothers games themselves come out and make the announcement for more legitimacy. I think we're done with all this speculation in terms of a release date. If you get what I mean, I think this is the point where we no longer do this speculation anymore, but instead start to say, hey, do you guys have a release date for us? When you have a release date, make sure that we're the first to know and it's not through a leak. I mean, you know what I mean? So that's pretty much where I am. So let's go and look at what the prevailing evidence looks like. So I looked around and I saw this article. In fact, if you Google Gotham Knights right now, you're going to see these articles pop up. And, I clicked on one of them and it pretty much walked through by saying, there was this artwork. And then on, Instagram, one of the voice actors replied to the artwork and all of that crazy stuff. So I went around and I went on Instagram. I followed the link because they actually did have the link there. And I went to their link on Instagram. Maybe I'm on the wrong link, but that comment is no longer available here. So perhaps it was removed. Perhaps I'm on the wrong comment, but it doesn't look like I'm on the wrong comment. Isn't this the same thing that we're looking at here? I think it is, but that comment's no longer there. Now, why would this comment from the voice actor no longer be there? I think the reason is simple. I don't think Warner Brothers is in a position where they want to, I would say they don't want to continue to fan the flames of speculation on something as serious as that. A reveal date is not a small thing. A reveal date is such a big deal that a studio like this understands that they have a multi-million-dollar product on their hand. And so I don't think they're going to just simply, go with that idea that, okay, we're just going to move in this direction casually because of, reasons or whatever it is. Now, why am I saying this? Why is my, position somewhat hardlined in this direction? Why am I not providing a lot of flexibility for the speculation and the things that build hype? And if anyone's going to build hype, y'all know we can, basically drum up some really cool hype on this game. I mean, we've just known and found out so much. We've dug out so much ourselves. And the reason I do that is because I don't want to set up false hopes for anyone here in this audience. I want you guys to understand that this Gotham Knights deal, we're going to keep it as real as it gets. And we want these developers to understand that they're being held accountable to a really high standard by the community members. So what I've done is I've gone back to a documentary that I watched a long time ago, and I'm going to show you the documentary, and I really recommend that everybody watch this documentary. It's called The Making of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Now, this is a different game for sure. It's a game with one single player character. It was made by one of EA Studio Respawn. And, one of the interesting things about a game like this compared to Gotham Knights is Gotham Knights is making a game with 4 main characters. But here is the central point. Both games are using Unreal Engine 4 as their main framework for the architecture. Now, in this documentary, you're going to see kind of the timeline of when they kind of started this project, which is how they were able to announce it one year and release it basically the next year because they knew they'd already built something quite solid. And in all of this, there are these conversations that are going on how they're going to do their E3 release. And here at the 49-minute mark, there's a conversation about EA and EA Play right before E3 around that same window. Now, they knew that this was the biggest IP in the world that they were working on. This is Star Wars. So they didn't even have any kind of room or leeway to mess up any marketing. Now, understand they'd already done some alphas, and they had already done some other reveals or closed door reveals in some technical showcases previously, and they were bringing the game to E3 where more people were going to be seeing the game. This was not only just a video game, it's a video game that it actually has a franchise that's just as big, if not bigger, than Batman. And let me tell you exactly what happens in this place. I wish I could play the whole thing for you, but they show it in segments. You see, this is one of the lead. I'm trying to bring up this image here, but they're going to show a really short snapshot of this lady here. She is one of the people that was in charge of the global marketing communications at that time. And she was the one that was basically bouncing off ideas off of them on what they had and how they were ready to reveal the game to the audience. You see, somebody like this was somebody who had more of the shots being called, even over the creative director of the game, who is this gentleman here, Stig Asmussen. He was the creative director over the game, and he still had to make sure that marketing was in the loop of everything that was going on. I can pull up another documentary, which is basically making Kratos. Let me pull it up here. You guys, I spelled it wrong. Making Kratos. And you're going to see that even in this documentary here, with Cory Barlog, who was the creative director of God of War of 2018, you're going to see that there were so many steps that were taken, and there was nothing that could just go on without having those communications, without having marketing, without having those aspects of the game being set in stone. A simple comment by one of the voice actors does not validate anything. We just have to put it that bluntly. I think it's just us as fans that just want to be excited over everything little that we think we can get, and there's nothing wrong with that. But to me, I think we could be excited about everything else, but when it comes to the reveal date or the reveal of a release date, I don't think anybody needs to be playing games with our emotions like that. I mean, you would agree with me that you don't want anybody to play with you with such critical information. And to me, I just feel like right now in the community, we are in a place where the developers need to be the ones to come out and say, this is when we're releasing the day. If a leak came out right now saying that the game was coming out on March 15th or whatever, I would still hold it with a little bit of skepticism until I hear what the developers and the publishers are saying in terms of the release date. Then I'm down. But in terms of theories, I think we can theorize about everything else. We can speculate about everything else. But with the release date, that's way too close to home. But this is just my own opinion anyways. You might differ from what I think, but, again, it's kind of what I think. But I'd love to hear your thoughts nonetheless in the comment section. I appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch the video. Talk to me in the comment section like I said, and hopefully we'll talk soon. Peace out.